Recording in progress. Here we go, my loves. Let's do this. So we start with a beautiful arm stretch. Oh, hang on. As soon as I lay down, oh, brush is back in. There you go. Right. So full body stretch to start with. What I'd like us to do, just a few moments in full stretch. Okay, now if you can, it's kind of right arm reach and just lean to the left side, left arm reach to the right side. So it's a bit of a wiggle jiggle. It's almost like you're pulling your rib cage away from your hips. So a little stretch to one side. If you want to hold on to your hands, like grip your hands to pull, feel free. Okay, now back of hands towards 12 o'clock, bend the elbows and see if we can slide the hands toward elbows towards 3 and 9 o'clock. So you've essentially got a bent elbow. So your elbows and back of hands touch the floor. Now that might be a bit of a challenge for you, so bear with. Okay, so the back of the hands and elbows are on the floor and at 90 degrees. Send your hands up towards the ceiling and let your hands float down towards the floor at your side. So it's a 90 degree and you're forced because you're in, because you're lying on the floor. Now what I'd like you to do when you do this is to close your eyes and have a little feel or consideration for your shoulders. Notice what your shoulders are doing, your biceps. You might feel a bit tight, you might feel a bit restricted here. We're going to be here a little while because I really want to get the shoulders nice and mobile today. So we're finger tapping the floor at the sides, finger tapping. So we're just literally working through the rotator cuff. It's a bit of an interesting one as we get going. Okay. Okay, so from here, leave your hands overhead, back of hands towards the mat, then bring the elbows to touch in front of you and overhead. Got me? Can you see? So elbows touch, sides of fingers, baby fingers touch, and then back to the floor again. So squeeze the elbows together and back to the floor again, squeeze the elbows together, back to the floor again. Last time, squeeze and hold, and then keep the elbows glued together. See how far you can take your hands overhead whilst keeping your elbows together as best they can. Okay, so again, this will just hopefully release off any restriction around the rotator cuff, around the shoulder. Okay, hands clasp and send your hands together over the overhead towards the ceiling and just have a little rotation here. Now you've got 2 bones in the forearm. This is a really nice one for them to release. This helps us to release the elbows. And again, you might feel that as the arm reaches into the shoulder. So keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, leave your hands pointing towards the ceiling and palms face away. Okay, from here, we're going to send the palms down to your sides, up towards the ceiling and back overhead. So we're just taking it down and up. Okay, let's alternate that. Notice what's going on in the shoulder blades. That's the important thing. What you can feel shifting in your shoulder blades. So alternating, one hand high, one hand low. What you may notice here is that your abdominals start to kick in. You get a little bit wobbly in your trunk. So this is a great time to start thinking about just squeezing through the inner thigh, connecting with your pelvic floor, drawing your belly into your backbone. Lovely, lovely. Okay, so let's just rest out the arms for a second. Thanks, chicken. Okay, let's bring the heels towards the bottom and then take your feet wide. So heels towards bottom, feet wide, and start to drop both knees down to one side, then the other. You're welcome. It's really funny. I did about 12 hours of IKEA building of furniture yesterday, and oh my God, on and off the floor, on and off the floor. I've got DOMS, my quads are really sore today. Right, what you'll notice, this gets bigger, and that is literally as you lubricate around the joints and the muscles are starting to warm up. Making sure you've got an apple between your chin and chest and you're not looking backwards, you're looking upwards towards the ceiling. Slow it down and push out of the feet to really see if you can get that knee towards, that inside knee towards the ground. So use the feet to press and push that knee in towards the ground. Again, noticing if there's any changes. Okay, hold on to the back of the thighs under the knee and just draw your knee into chest and some little pulls in and release. It's a really unflattering angle here. Okay, from here, keep your arms out nice and wide, allow the knees to drop completely to one side and back up, and then completely to the other side and back up, and enjoy that. So you might want to hold into that position or create more movement. It's up to you how you feel, but keep the thighs close to the ribs here and enjoy the stretch in the chest. Well done. Okay, feet on the floor. And then bring your knees slightly closer together so they're in more of a neutral alignment, and think about flattening off the back and then creating an arch in the back. So we've got some rock and roll tilts in the pelvis. Now, this is when we need to introduce that inner thigh, buttocks, from the arch of the foot. Think inner thigh or the inside of the thigh, all the way up into the pelvic floor, rocking and rolling, but really start to connect with the inner thigh. Lovely. Okay, let's take it up higher, so we're up into a bridge. And then down low. So we're just working on that full bridge as part of our mobility here. Now, it's up to you where you want your hands at this point. So I'm a fan of arms overhead because it opens up through the chest. So just work through that spinal articulation here, rocking and rolling up, up, up. And when you get to the top of the movement, just make sure you give yourself that final squeeze and really engage through the bottom and the inner thighs. Now, the other thing to notice is that when we get to the top of the movement, sometimes we tend to hyperextend and push out the bottom ribs, connect to those bottom ribs. So pull them together, because then that becomes more Pilates and less yoga. And what you might notice is that as you pull and knit in your ribs, you might feel more of a release around the back, the low back. Okay, well done. Stretch your legs out, arms overhead again if you can. Ooh. Okay, now wiggle, jiggle the knees. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Just jiggle, 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 jiggle. Lovely, and release. Okay, we're going to turn onto our sides to face me. Okay, right, and up onto our sides into half-seated 90-90 with our knees. Now, I introduced this last week to you. What I'm looking for, so just watch me for a second. It's what we do with the leg, okay? So the leg is back. We lift it and bring it forward, and then lift it and bring it backwards. Got it? Okay, we're only doing a handful of these, but this isn't unusual to perform this type of movement at home, right? Okay, last time. Stay there, switch sides. Now, I tried doing all of that without using my hands. Okay, so we lift and bring around, lift and set it back. Oh, that was nice. Knees are clicking, hips clicking, back's going. Oh, I'm not sure, Mum. Well done. Last time, stay there. Okay, so 90-90. Pop your hand down onto the mat. So we're 90-90, hand down. All I'm doing here, sending one arm up towards the ceiling, and then we're going into a high wrap. So we're twisting. There's no lift of the hips. We're sat. You can feel your hip. Stretch your arm towards the ceiling or further back. Bring it right the way around and tap around your back, around your bra line. So we open, send the hand back, close, and pat around your bra line. Lovely. Again, what this is doing is just creating a bit of a stretch and some mobility around the ball and socket joint in the shoulder. That's in the first place. Okay, we'll switch the legs around. 90-90, hand nice and flat. Open up, and then we wrap. Oh. Open up. Now, if you want to increase that range of movement, send that hand further back. Feel free. Giving yourself that lovely pat, like that. Pop, 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 pop. Oh. Really open it up. So again, it's just getting that range in the shoulder, lovely rotation through the spine. Beautiful. Well done. And then sit back in child's pose. Okay, so toes connect, knees wide, and push your body weight so your bottom is towards your heels, okay? So that's like part one, bottom towards heels. Use pressure at the hands to keep pushing backwards. Now, whilst you're here, start to lift and engage your pelvic floor again. And release. Lift and engage the pelvic floor. And release. Good. Okay. Now, if you come forward slightly, now you can watch me if you want to, forward slightly, hands reach in front of you, and try and bring the chest towards the floor. So this is more of a puppy pose. So the bottom comes forward slightly, the arms fully extend, try and get the elbows down and then the chest down. Now this will be really quite intense into the shoulder. So find your sweet spot, the bit that works for you. What I'm looking for here is more mobility into the spine. Now, some might prefer knees closer together. It will change the focus, but it's a nice alternative. And that should feel quite intense. Okay, well, that sets us up nicely to come onto all fours. And here we just hump and hollow. So just think for a moment about that stretch in the spine. And what you need to do to really maximize that stretch. Last time, humping and hollowing. Curl toes under heels, lift knees, push back into downward facing dog. And we're going to settle here. So if you want to, while we come into position, you can walk, bend the knees, look under your shoulders. We're going to be here for about a minute. If you feel the need to just hold, stay there, lift your tail, pull your belly in, think about your shoulders, keep pressing your body weight backwards. Enjoy the stretch through the back of your legs. Out of here we come forward into plank. So breath in, exhale, and slowly create a wave as you bring your weight forward. Squeeze your buttocks together, draw your heels together, hold for 2. 1 breath in, push back into downward dog. Take a breath, exhale, come forward into a plank. Nice and strong, squeeze the buttocks, draw the heels together, nice and strong out of your shoulders. Breath in, exhale, push back. Last time. Make that lovely wave, come forward into plank, drawing your belly into backbone, knee down, high knee in, roll out your wrists. Okay, so that's your warm-up done. How do you feel? Are you okay? It was kind of quite a strong bit of mobility. Can you all see me? Yeah. Right, good. And you can hear me okay. Lovely. Ooh, grab some water. That got the circulation going, didn't it, and blood flow. You're like, oh, that's nice. Right, so you might feel that we've worked the wrist, you feel the shoulders are starting to come into play nicely. What I'd like us to do is bring the ball into play. So in the first part, we're going to work on some roll downs. All ahead of you, so watch me for a moment. We're going to roll back as far as you need to, keeping your feet into the ground. 1 of 3. 2, arm comes out to the side with the ball. Sweep around, come up. 2, 3, other side. And then we're back to the first one. So taking it all the way down. If you want to allow the ball to tap overhead, feel free. Chin to chest, rise up. Hand to one side. Up. Other side. Roll down. So we've got 3 more sets of this, so 9 goes. Think about how your waistline is feeling, your obliques. Last round. You right there? Good, good. Roll down, full body stretch. Good job. Ooh. Right. Okay, lovely. Now, the feet come into bottom. You're going to lift the hips and you're going to pop that ball underneath your hips into your sacrum. Okay, when you're ready, let's lift up one leg and then the other. Okay, So we're holding. Now, a couple of things to adjust. When we normally come into tabletop on the floor, our hips are in a slightly different position. So normally we're 90 at the thighs and 90 at, so if that makes sense, you've got a 90-degree angle when you are on the floor. When your hips are elevated on a ball or a beam or a cushion, you've got more of a 100 to 110 degree angle at that hip joint. Okay, so you just need to adjust your thighs. This will increase the stress and the load into the lower back, which is why it's now so important to draw those inner thighs towards each other. As you breathe away, stretch out one leg, pull it back in, switch sides. Now your elbows are on the floor to ground you and give you support. To increase the challenge, you can take your hands towards the ceiling and notice what your shoulder blades are doing to stabilize you. So this is part 2. If you want to increase the challenge further, you start to wrap your hands around the back of your shoulders, so the shoulder blades are no longer stabilizing you. So this is all core work. If you put your hands to the front of your shoulders, similar, but the shoulder blades still kind of play in stability. Woo. Keep going. Anyone finding that a challenge? Now there's lots of variations, but we're going to keep going for probably 15 more seconds. So find the thing that works for you. If this is too intense into the lower back, you take your legs higher. You think about the inner thighs and the inner thigh connection to your pelvic floor. If you want to bring your shoulder blades back in as stabilizers, feel free. Whew. 3 and 2. Last time. Draw your knees into chest. Give yourself a bit of a clutch. Lovely. Okay, feet come down. Lift hips. Take the ball away. Okay, so what we're going to do is actually take the ball into the small of the shoulder blades and the middle of the back. So if you imagine just above where you put your bra strap on, and then we roll onto it. Now, this is going to be a little uncomfortable, and those of us who struggle with vertigo, good luck. What I'm trying to do here is create a stretch underneath your chest, down to your ribs and into your abdominals. Your hands are towards the trunk and bottom. Don't worry about them. They haven't got a job yet. Okay, so in the first place, let's see if we can just cope with this. And breath work tends to really help here. So long breaths in, and you'll notice how high your ribs are and that they're flaring, and this is creating quite a big stretch. So bear with. Okay, if you can tolerate it, take your legs out long and straight. And if you can tolerate it, start to bring your arms slightly higher beyond 3 and 9 o'clock. So if you want to take them overhead, you can. But just use the breath work to try and increase the stretch. So this is literally all about that hyperextension of the back, increasing the mobility of the back. Okay, so from here, we're going to bring the hands back to the sides. From here, we're going to slide the hands towards the knees, and that involves chin to chest and start rolling upwards. Eye goes through to your toenails. So we allow the shoulders to come back down. We're almost looking towards the wall behind us. Slide the hands forward, chin to chest, and float those fingers towards your knees. Roll over the ball, head down. Look up, look forward, and rise. Now this time, what if, as you look at your toes, you lifted one leg and then lowered. Chin to chest, rise, lift leg, heel down and lower. Last time, each side. So your neck is going to go, oh, that was a bit tough. Stay there, relax your head onto the ground, but do us a favor, look over your shoulder. So look to the right, look to the left. Notice any differences or imbalances. And then when you're ready, bend your knees, push onto one side, move the ball out of the way just for a moment. Feel okay? Okie doke. Right. Oh, that felt quite strong, didn't it, into the back? So again, a nice release is wide feet, drop your knees to one side and then the other. It's a nice way just to release the hips. Okay, so we're coming back onto our back, and our starting point once again will be tabletop as we come into scissors. So this is one of a series, okay? So we start one foot then the other. Think about your alignment, 90 at the hip, 2 abdominals. Okay, don't worry about your arms yet. So what we're looking for is a foot to tap. Oh, hang on, I lie. We're looking to send your feet towards the ceiling and then flex your feet. Point your toes, bend your knees. Now this should be very little movement at your hips. It should be a knee and ankle only job. Now be conscious of your alignment. When we do this, we are many of us are quite unbalanced. So we've got to think about the inner thigh. We've got to think about the stretch in the back of the hamstring. So try to work on that vertical alignment. Lovely. Anyone finding that quite a challenge? Okay. Last time up to the ceiling, flex the feet. And let's see if we can just lift the lower bottom off the mat, sending your feet just slightly upwards towards your face with a straight knee. Give me 4, 3, and 2. Last time. Feet down. Oh, well done. Okay, so we're rolling on our one side. If you want to, you can use your ball to snuggle onto. And I need you to try and get this bottom shoulder that you're lying on right underneath your shoulders, so you're really stacked with it. Now, if this is too much pain, Chris, modify. I don't know how it's difficult to make yourself comfy, but it's important that we've got that shoulder stacking going on. Okay, so that's part 1. Bring your knees forward. Part 2, it's all about the top leg. So set up 3, we're going to straighten that leg and send it down to the middle of your yoga mat. But the interesting thing is you will naturally swing that leg forward. So little check, just make sure you're nice and straight, a straight line, ankle, knee, hip, shoulder, ear. Okay, once we've got that, we're just going to start with some pulsing. Relaxed ankle. So the knee will be pointing forwards. Feel that pressure into the bottom. Some of you will start to feel a build on the outside of the hip into thigh. Top arm nice and relaxed. It's all about the connection in the shoulders and the connection in your waistline. Okay, good, stop. We're going to bring the whole leg forward slightly whilst not trying to cave in on your hip. So as you bring your load forward, what will happen is you'll roll into it, but I don't want you to do that. I want you to make sure your hips are stacked. Okay, so same thing. We'll just lift and lower, little pulses, not too intense yet, but you know it's starting to build. Should be feeling it around the hip joints. Some of you might be feeling it down the thigh, into the knee, into the ankle. Oof. Beautiful. Think about the inner thigh. There is a burn. There is definitely a burn. Okay, come back to center. Now, this time we're going to go back. Now, you will naturally lean into this, and then that is fine. So the top leg is just going further back. So more of a butt squeeze as you lift and lower. And again, what you might notice is maybe a bit more of an opening into the front of the hip. But again, a lot of intensity. 8, 7, 6. I lie, it's not. We've still got another 8 to go. Yeah, it was 20, 20, 20. Well done. Okay, bring the knee in and bring it down. Well done. That's it. That's fine, right? We're okay. Good. Okay. We're going to switch sides simply because I'll forget. So switch sides. So it's about setup. That's the important thing, that the shoulders are perfectly stacked. Okay. So shoulders stacked, belly braced, part 1. Part 2, are we okay in there? Yeah. Okay, and leg goes down the center of your yoga mat. So think about how your waistline is feeling. Relax through the ankle. So nice and relaxed. We start to pulse. So there's 20 pulses here. Belly braced, pelvic floor lifted. And think about the top of the inner thigh. Lovely. Good. Okay, swing that leg forward slightly. Try not to change the alignment of the hips. And pulse again, 20 of these. Ten, 9, 8. Take it back. So we go through the center of the yoga mat, and then we're going to go back further, maybe another 10 degrees. Okay, put you there, squeeze. So it's an inner thigh, but you should target, you should feel it around the hips. Some of you will feel it into the buttocks. All of it is about the smaller muscles in the hip joint. Lovely. Good alignment here, guys. Just make sure you're not rolling onto your buttocks and that you're really lovely and stacked hips, shoulders. Ooh, I think we're about 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. Bring the knees forward. Give yourself a bit of a rub. Okay, so we are taking the ball out of play and rolling onto your belly. Okay, so in the first place, I want you to squeeze your bottom and just roll side to side. So you're actually pressing your pubic bone down into your mat. Okay, so fascias cross here. So it might feel a little tender to start with. just a little rock and roll side to side. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is just allow the knee to bend. So no style, no flair, just kicking the feet towards the bottom. This is, again, it's just about lubricating at the knee and just prepping the body. Okay, lovely. Walk the thighs closer together. Curl the toes under the heels and squeeze the thighs so tightly and squeeze the bottom so tightly your knees come off the floor. How does that feel on your ribs? You feel okay? Okay, relax, release. Okay, so watch for a second. The forehead is on the back of the hands. What we're looking for are 3 strikes to the bottom and 1 extension. Relax the leg. So it looks like this. Leg lifts, so the starting point is the thigh away from the floor. 3 heel strikes, 2, 1, extend, release, switch. Set up, 3, 2, 1, point, release down. One, 2, 3. Continue to do this. Again, this is really important to get that connection into the back, engaging around the gluteals. This is really focused on getting your thigh, knee to the hip, off the mat. So we're not just kicking the leg into the bottom, we're really getting that hip extension as well. Well done. 2 more each side. Well done. And then release. Good, 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 good. Okay, so we've put some focus into lower back using legs. Now we're going to stay middle back using arms. So we take the hands. You just watch for a second. We take the hands, we slide them roughly bra height or where your ribs are. And what we're looking to do is to roll the shoulders and lift the hands off the ground. So think about peeling the spine away from the ground, feeling that control and that tightening as we lift, lift, lift. Now, if you want to make it more of a challenge, you can start to peel away and stretch your arms in front of you. So it's a lift, stretch arms into a Y, pull them back and squeeze, and then lower. So we lift, Y shape, hands to ribs, and lower. Now you've got 4 more of these to go. Lovely. So this is just so good for your spine. Well done. Last time. Is that right? Maths is rubbish today. Push back into child's pose, release your back. We're going to be here for about a minute. So find your real sweet spot to stretch out your back. Now play with it, move. It might be that you stretch into one diagonal and then move to the opposite side. That's quite nice. You come up onto all fours. and into swimming. So the lovely thing about the last 2-3 exercises is that they all act as prep for this bit. And what we're looking for is really strong coordination and connection into the trunk. We're looking for opposite leg to arm. Now today, let's do this super mega slow. Think about the stretch of the leg when lifting. Got your balance, take your hand out long. Think about your alignment. So adjust where you need to. Then come back into your starting position. So we send one leg away, squeeze through the inner thigh and the bottom, then the hand reach. Well done. Sit back onto your knees. I'm going to introduce a stretch to you. Ooh, God. So we're going to do three movements, okay? So just watch for a second. Leg closest. So we're going to go forward as far forward as possible. Now, if you want to bring the foot quite closely back, I'm looking at knee and ankle. Then I'm stretching that same foot forward to give myself a hamstring. Then I bend the knee and I'm going to just take it out to the side. Got it? So we're going to repeat that. So there's a stretch forward, pull back into hamstring stretch, center, and then let it push out. So you come onto the outside edge of your foot. We'll just change angles. We're repeating 2-3 more on the same side. So forward. This just unlocks around the pelvis. Back into the hamstring. If you want to curl your toes towards the ceiling, it increases that stretch. And back through to center, and then drop the knee out. Let's do that a few more times. Curl toes if you want to. Put down that to the side. One more, yeah? Okay. It's nice, isn't it? Okay. Switcheroonie. Hip forward. Right. Let's settle in. Pull back. Out to the side. The funny thing is for me, I don't know if you girls are the same, but one side I've got way more flexibility. Go back. I've got to be on a Zoom call. Did the whole thing get cancelled? So coming forward. Pull back. Out to the side. Two more times. Take it forward. Pull it back. Out to the side. It's the out to the side one. I don't know about you lot. I really struggle with that. On that side. Last time. Well done. Release, relax. Okay. Feeling okay? Let's do some relaxation. So grab a sip and then make yourself nice and comfortable for your relaxation. you okay? You gotta go. Gotcha. Now today I just want to start in one area and do a stress, relax, release, okay? So my phone. Right, thank you. Sorry. Okay, so let's start with long breaths. Now I want us to focus on the breathe in part one. Okay, now I want you to take your awareness down into your toes. I want you to contract and then release. So if you're sat, same principles, you can either physically do it or just visualize tension in that area and then release. We're going to move up the body. So then think about feet and calves. So you might need to really put some focus into it before you release. Okay. And then move up the body. So feet, calves, knees, thighs, tension. And then release. Feel the tension as you contract around the hip and pelvis. And release. And now start thinking as you move up the spine. And release. Now you might need to put a bit more attention in around the shoulders. Now think about the neck, the back of the head. Make any adjustment that is appropriate. Now we start to work around the face. Relaxing and contracting. So a big frown or a big stretch of the mouth. Think about your jawline, try and relax around. So ear into the jaw. Think of the bottom jaw, relax. Tongue, relax it off the roof of the mouth. And see if you can just take all the stress out of the joint. Okay, now feel tension leave through your arms. So take any contract, release down into the elbow, into the wrist and into the fingers. Okay, across the chest. Any tension, just alleviate, just breathe it through, release it off. Now as you breathe, I'd like you to do a slow body scan. So breathing in and out, nice and relaxed. Just check through things, joints from the feet up to the ankles, moving up to the knees, the pelvis, belly button, going all the way, moving up the body, and feel the scan just as it's traveling up your body through to the ears, crown of your head. It's just picking up anything that just needs a little adjustment or release of energy. And then we go, and let that scanner just go back down. But as it goes back down, it just resets you. It's just like we would reset a computer. Just feel that being put back together. Good. And then from there, take a long breath in. Arms out wide. Move fingers. Okay, when you're ready, bring your hands back to your center. Opening your eyes. Exhale, let it go. Start to bring yourself up into a seated position. Coming back into the room. Give yourself a moment to process and reflect. Well done. Arms out wide. Reach up high and give yourselves a round of applause. Well done, lovely people. How do you feel? I'm going to stop.